Yo, what's up guys, it's your boy Sami here. Today we are gonna see, what if Itachi gives Naruto his Sharingan, part 1. Hope you'll enjoy this video. So before we start, please subscribe to our channel, and like this video. So let's get into the video. Outside Uchiha District. October 10th, 1109 Northeast. Never had the boy hated Konoha like he did then, there, and now. The desolate moonlight left a shady reflection in the boy's eyes. The idiotic villagers deemed it to ruin his 9th birthday, which really didn't surprise the kid. They ruined it every year, as far back as he could remember. Today was October 10, the 9th anniversary of Kyuubi's defeat, which, as you know, was his birthday. The boy was far from stupid. He knew himself to be the container for the fearsome Kyuubi no Kitsune. Despite the fact that he was intelligent, it didn't take long to realize the coincidence of Kyuubi's defeat, as well as the day of birthday. That, and there was usually a malignant voice in the back of his mind, prodding, pushing him to do things, bad things. One thing he'd never understand, as he lay there, beaten, and limp like a broken puppet, he wondered about the intelligence of the villagers. Since he the pariah happened to be the Kyuubi, why did they insist on beating him, and mistreating him? The human mind is fragile in itself, and one wrong blow could unleash the Kyuubi upon the villagers. Supposing his 9-year-old body could harness the raw power of the Kyuubi, as the villagers gathered around his body. The 9-year-old wondered perhaps it'd be best if he showed the villagers who the real demon was. He betted that maybe they'd stop beating him then if he could rip their innards out and hang them on it. Then he'd laugh maniacally and watch as they gagged on their own blood, slowly choking, the life leaving their eyes. He knew it was pointless to scream. They'd beat him some more. It was better for them to think he was dead, and his throat was sore from the previous screams. Despite how unequivocally evil the Kyuubi was, he knew it was time to heal the boy, doing it only out of self-preservation. The raw power of chakra that was running through the boy's coils was enough to send the bastards running, and there laid a 9-year-old boy, beaten, broken, and bereft of his hopes and dreams of being Hokage. The 9-year-old boy, beaten and bloodied, laying outside the Uchiha district like some dog. Ironically enough, the villagers had taken his eyes. There had definitely been shinobi in the crowd. Naruto knew that since it had been a kunai that slashed across his eyes, and then gouged out. The kunai had robbed the kid of his precious eyesight. His throat hoarse, he laid there, waiting to die, but God was in a jovial mood, since death never came. Staring into his little brother's one-tomo Sharingan for the last time, Itachi disappeared, tears welling in his eyes. His mission was complete, and he finally stepped out of the district's entrance before breaking down, sobbing quietly. He, a 15-year-old Anbu captain, had slaughtered his entire clan, save for his little Sasuke. He had to make sure Sasuke never forgot, and with his Manjutsu Sharingan, he had used Tsukuyomi on him, forcing Sasuke to relive the slaughter of his clan. It had been cruel, but necessary, then to force Sasuke to foster hate for him, so he could redeem Itachi by killing him when he was older. All was set, now he just had to gather up his bearings, and find Uchiha Madara at the Valley of the End. Lost in his own pain, it took him several moments to hear the soft sobbing and sniveling of a young boy. Itachi hardened his gaze, and stared at the kid, who had apparently been attacked. Though it would have been next to impossible to hide in that atrociously orange jumpsuit. Itachi thought. Recognizing the blonde hair immediately, he knew who the boy was, the 4th Hokage's legacy, his son. Though he doubted the boy knew it, the only reason Itachi knew this was because, as Anbu captain, he had access to highly classified top-secret information. It disgusted him to think of how they treated the boy. While the villagers didn't know of the boy's parentage, they knew he was the container for the Kyuubi, and had mistreated him severely for it. Itachi walked over to him, and nearly gasped in shock. They had taken the boy's eyes clean with the kunai from the looks of it. How could they? Itachi's black eyes began to change into the form of the Manjutsu out of anger. The boy had been beaten, and then urinated on. Then they gouged out his eyes with a kunai, meaning shinobi had been involved, as well. All on the boy's 9th birthday. Itachi never really cared for the boy, simply because, as Anbu captain, he never really had the time to interact with them, but the boy looked to be Sasuke's age. Is there? The boy called out fearfully, trying to scramble up to his feet. Feeling bad about the situation, Itachi reached and pulled the boy up to his feet. Uchiha Itachi, ex-Anbu captain. He replied shortly. Itachi-san, are you here to hurt me too? The boy said, his arms shooting out to feel his immediate surroundings. Looking at the boy, Itachi could only see his brother Sasuke, and how he had hurt him. Wrapping the boy up in a fierce hug, he hugged him like he could never hug his little brother. No Naruto, I'm not here to hurt you. Itachi said calmly, his eyes watering slightly. Why not? The boy bursted out angrily, fighting against Itachi's embrace. I'm Kyuubi, I don't deserve to be loved or cared for. I'm not supposed to have dreams like everyone else. Please just kill me, Itachi-san. Naruto begged, blood oozing out of his punctured orifices. You are just a weapon, nothing else. You cannot have dreams. You are not meant to be loved, nor should you love anyone else. You are a shinobi. Danzo's words never left the young Uchiha. He had always taken it to heart, living solely by the old decrepit bastard's words. If you're not gonna kill me, just give me a kunai, I'll do it myself. Naruto spat at him, reaching with outstretched arms. Itachi's heart broke for the boy. It was so cold that someone at his age had to live such a hated life. What was your dream? Itachi asked, releasing the boy. To be Hokage, that was my dream. Naruto said sadly, now all I want to do is protect myself, but I'm blind. How am I supposed to defeat what I can't see? I can't even become a shinobi now. That's all I wanted, to become a shinobi that made his village proud. Naruto said, sniveling once more, as he hung his head down in defeat. Itachi reached into the bag he carried, pulling out a scroll. He had been saving them, as per Madara's instructions. Also, it was supposed to be a reminder of his actions, but perhaps Shisui would be proud of him. Itachi unsealed the large scroll in his bag, where it poofed out of existence, leaving only a small jar which held 2 objects. Uchiha Shishui's eyes. Naruto-kun. I'm going to give you your eyesight back. This might hurt a little. Itachi spoke. He opened up the jar, and pulled the first eyeball out. Groaning in disgust, he had implanted the first eye into Naruto's socket, sending chakra to his hands. His hands lit up with green chakra, and the first eyeball was in. Then he grabbed the other, and pushed it in, healing the socket afterwards. Can you see now? Itachi asked. It was blurry for Naruto at first, then clear, better than Naruto had seen before in his life. Naruto nodded, and, as he looked up to stare into the eyes of his savior, he saw blood-red eyes with what looked like a 3-pronged shuriken surrounding the pupil. Thank you Itachi Naisen. Naruto went to hug him when Itachi used 2 fingers to poke him in the forehead. Tsukiyomi. Naruto was immediately thrown into the Naruto-kun, this is my world of Tsukiyomi. In these 3 days there is only a second on the outside. I will do what no one has ever done, I will show you the truth about you. Naruto-kun, when I poke you in the head, I transferred part of my power to you. Now, let me show you what happened. After the technique was dispelled, Naruto blacked out. Itachi grabbed him, and sunshine away, dumping Naruto at the hospital near the Hokage's office. Then he left, never again looking at Konoha. Sarutobi-sama, you better take care of Naruto and Sasuke. Both are vital to my redemption. Naruto woke up the next day, still a bit sore. He was back in a hospital, which in itself was pretty common. Brushing his stray hair out of his eyes, he grimaced remembering the dreams that he had, of some giant conspiracy in Konoha, the reason why he was so hated. In the dream the villagers took his eyes, and some Uchiha named Itachi gave him his sight back. Staring into a mirror, and no longer seeing his typical azure color, now replaced by twin green orbs. Apparently the dreams had been real, as well as everything else Itachi showed him. Naruto stood up, ripping out the IVs in his arms. They tried to kill him before by pouring lead into the IVs. Seconds later a nurse, and a few metnin, came bursting in to stop him. Naruto barreled through them, leaving the hospital. He hurried out of there, and made his way to the Hokage tower. Are you here to see the Hokage? A by the name of Genma asked. Yes, Genma-san. Naruto replied shortly, looking down at the deck. Genma nodded in surprise. Naruto never had been that polite, nor stood that still before. Something was off with the boy. Genma then allowed access. Naruto walked down the halls, no glimmer in his eyes, no fake smile plastered to his whiskered face. Today he was unequivocally him. No more hiding his emotions behind a cheerful, idiotic exterior. Naruto knocked on Sandame's door. Come in, came the curt reply. Naruto opened the door, and stepped inside. Aheo Sandame-sama. Naruto said offhandedly, giving the Hokage a small bow. The Hokage was perplexed. He knew Naruto was never formal with anyone, and he never bowed to no one. Are you alright with Naruto-kun? I heard about the attack last night. The aged Hokage said, looking at Naruto rather sadly. I'm alive, am I not? Naruto asked dismissively. Alive isn't everything, for what it's worth I'm sorry Naruto-kun. Sarutobi apologized to the boy. I find that hard to believe today, Hokage-sama. Naruto replied calmly. The Hokage's sad features turned into an angry smile. What did you say? He demanded. I don't think you're too regretful, Lord Sarutobi. I constantly get beaten up and nearly killed, but what have you done about it? You create a law that you don't enforce, and then the villagers get scared less by it. I don't pretend to be your grandson, nor do I pretend to think you actually care about me on more than an impersonal level. Most likely you never will. Naruto finished. Sandame was stunned to say the least. Naruto-kun, I'm sorry if it doesn't seem like much to you. The third Hokage said calmly, seeing as Naruto had made some perfect points. He indeed had created a law that forbade anyone to mistreat him or mention that he was the Kyuubi, yet it was never really enforced. The villagers would go to jail for a few days, and then be released again. The supposed hero of the village, the Kyuubi, son of Namikaze Minato, and yet that didn't stop them from gouging out my eyes. Naruto yelled, green eyes turning blood red with one tamo in each eye. I've had it with this village. The next time I get attacked by anyone, Leaf Nin included, I will fight back, and I will kill if I have to. This is my law, my new. No one has done anything to help me, except for Uchiha Itachi, and he has shown me the truth. I'm disappointed in Hokage-sama. Where did you get all this information from? Sandaime asked. The well that never went dry. The only person honest to me in Konoha, and that definitely wasn't you. Naruto replied coldly, suddenly bursting into smoke, forcing the Hokage to realize that he'd been talking with a cage bunshin. Where the hell is Naruto going? Sarutobi asked out loud. 3 days later. Sasuke didn't want to get up out of bed. Here in his comfortable king-size bed, he could pretend. He could pretend his mother was downstairs cooking bacon and eggs for breakfast, and that father would be ready for another round of the fireball. Big brother would be in the woods practicing his shuriken technique, ready to carry Sasuke around on his back when he'd hurt his ankle later. All he had to do was stay in bed, and he could pretend. Itachi Naisen wouldn't have killed all the Uchihas. Sasuke thought, dismissing the notion that his big brother could do something like that. Sunlight filtered in through an open curtain, and snuck its way into Sasuke's eyes, blinding him for a second. He could only pretend for so long. He stood up out of bed, subconsciously rubbing his forehead where big brother used to always jam him. They're all really gone. Sasuke thought, falling to his knees on the side of the bed, offering a prayer for his clan. Thinking about it all caused tears to well up in his eyes, so he didn't, quickly pushing the thoughts of the Uchiha massacre. Run, little brother, run. Cling to your pathetic excuse of your life for nothing other than killing me. Foster all your hate and devotion to me, so that one day we can fight again. I'm your big brother Sasuke. I'll always be there for you, even if it's only as an obstacle for you to overcome. Hot tears flooded his eyes, numbing his cheeks. Big brother Sasuke panted out, sobbing, gripping the edge of his bed tightly. Why? Why did you do this? Off in the distance, he heard a knock on his door. Wondering exactly who'd be knocking on his door today, Sasuke stood up and headed towards the door, wiping the evidence of his tears to the best of his knowledge. Opening the door, he was surprised by the sight that greeted him. It was done by the Uzumaki kid from class. Dobe, what are you doing here? Sasuke asked, head hung low to pretend he hadn't been crying. Sasuke, I'm sorry to hear about your family. The blonde boy said sincerely, brushing an unruly lock of spiky hair out of his eyes. Sasuke stared at him, something seemed to be off. Especially his eyes. Rather than the usual vibrant blue, Naruto's eyes seemed to be some sort of jade, and that was a color Sasuke only saw on a few people. Naruto seemed to be dressed in funeral attire, with some sort of black ceremonial guy, black shinobi sandals, and a black jacket. What's with the clothes, Dobe? Sasuke asked, feigning annoyance. He had to get going anyway, the Uchiha's funeral was in an hour. It's part of the reason I'm here, Sasuke. I know it's hard to lose everything, and even though we aren't friends, perhaps you'd like me to accompany you to the funeral. Naruto asked honestly. Why do you even care? Sasuke snapped at the outlandish question. Well, mainly cause there's gonna be a bunch of old codgers there, people who didn't really care too much for the Uchihas, talking because they like the sound of their own voices, and whatnot, and perhaps you'd want someone to be there for you. It sucks to be alone, to lose it all, and that I know, so I felt really bad when I heard about what happened. Sasuke pondered it for a second. Was the boy offering him his friendship? What did he have to gain out of it? Why? Sasuke asked, tears welling in his eyes again. Both my parents died on the night of the Kyuubi, and all my life I've lived alone, hated by all the villagers, and knowing that you lost it all, just compelled me to be here, because knowing there's someone out there like me kills me, because I wouldn't wish this on anybody. Naruto explained, tears welling up in his own eyes. You really wish to accompany me on this? Sasuke asked timidly. Naruto nodded. Let me put on the Uchiha ceremonial clothes, and then we'll head out. Can I offer you something to drink? Sasuke asked. Yeah, some water would be cool. It's kinda hot out here. Sasuke nodded, and the two of them stepped into the house. The dark bitter day lessened, now that Sasuke had a friend to help him through the pain. Sandaime sat back in his chair, puffing on a pipe, blowing the smoke through his nostrils. He sighed wearily, being the Hokage wasn't all it was cracked up to be. Old he might be, but he was not senile, and he was pretty sure he wasn't hallucinating. That bastard Asuma better have not laced my tobacco again. The Hokage thought. Uzumaki Naruto had really just stormed up into his office, and exclaimed boldly that he knew of his heritage. It was bad enough that Sarutobi had always felt guilty over the years about the fourth second's legacy and his treatment, but alas, he was too old to make such an effort to make the village see him as a hero. He basically had tossed the poor boy out into the open world, hanging him out to dry, and despite the fact that he had assured the village that they were safe from the Kyuubi because of Naruto, they still saw the boy as Yondane's killer. He didn't blame them for missing the prodigy that was Namikaze Minato. He had been a better Hokage than Sarutobi ever was. He had been so young and full of talent, literally brimming with it, to only die so young. Life was never fair. Minato had been a prime example of the will of fire, constantly throwing his life on the line, as he had been the huge tide turning during the Konoha-Iwa War. Sarutobi remembered, as he stood in front of the incoming platoons of Iwa Nin. How calmly he stood there, while his platoon of Konoha Nin shook in fear. His calamity unbroken, he handed them a three-pronged kunai, and told them to throw it if they ever needed him. Then he launched hundreds of the very same three-pronged kunai, and disappeared in a yellow flash, slaughtering wherever he went. Minato's actions in the war against Iwa was what made him choose him over Orochimaru as a successor to the Hokage mantle. Orochimaru was a genius, with a huge amount of talent, and was successful, but there had just been something wrong with the man. Orochimaru had been 36 at the time Sarutobi had picked Minato, and even now he could still remember his disciples' outrage. Why Sarutobi-sensei? What does he have that I don't? I have always strived to become Yondaime Hokage to Konoha, and you're going to pass the mantle on to that kid. Some no-named orphans from a megacure. When I, Orochimaru, am a Sannin, a prodigy, the kind that comes every once in a while, yet you give it to that good for nothing. Tell me why, damn it. Why, Sarutobi-sensei? Orochimaru cried out in anger. Because there's never been a shinobi like Namikaze Minato, and there will never be one like him again. With no apprentice or nothing to keep him in Konoha, Orochimaru left, never to be seen again. Yet Sarutobi still remembered the pale-faced boy, who arrogantly tried taking his bells 38 years ago. Sarutobi knew he hadn't been the best sensei to the group, but he had done his best. It had been his promise to the Shodaime, to do the very best. Sandaime knew he had faults. He was perverted like Jiraiya, possibly even more so, though the Gamma Sannin had been perverted since the first day Sarutobi met him. If only he had been a better teacher from the get-go. Jiraiya had been Sarutobi's second biggest regret, the first being Jiraiya's godson, Uzumaki Naruto. Radio-san. The aging Cage called out. The scarred head went in immediately. Yes, Lord Hokage. Summon the council, now. Naruto and Sasuke sat on the edge of a small wooden bridge, overlooking the lake at the Uchiha district. Sasuke-san, we have much to discuss. Naruto said, looking over at the 9-year-old boy. The dark-haired boy turned to look at his only true friend, quirking his eyebrows, wondering what was so pertinent. What do you want to discuss, Naruto? Sasuke said, kicking his legs, as they stared into the lake. Uchiha Itachi is not what you think he was, and neither am I. Naruto began, neon green eyes boring down into the Uchiha's black ones. Sasuke's brows furrowed, his eyes narrowing in disgust at the mere mention of his brother. It had been a day since the funeral, and he didn't want to lose his friend. He'd hear him out. Speak. What are you talking about? Sasuke commanded, his eyes on the verge of watering, as he began to think of what his brother had shown him, how he emotionlessly killed the whole Uchiha clan, Sasuke's parents included. I'll start by telling you about me. It's shorter than Itachi's story, anyway. Naruto started, the Uchiha has full attention on him now. You've heard about the Kyuubi, right? Sasuke nodded, yeah, Yondaime defeated it, right? No, he wasn't Sasuke. For the most part, Kyuubi is made up of Yokai infinite demonic chakra, which constantly heals its injuries, making him utterly invincible. Now the Yondaime, knowing he couldn't kill it, decided to seal it into something, and it had to be a newborn baby, or else the seal wouldn't hold, and it'd release the Kyuubi all over again. Why? Because of the Yokai, if it's sealed within a grown adult, the body doesn't have time to adjust to it, and the coils break, destroying the body from the inside, and releasing the Kyuubi out into the world again. Now if you'd seal it within a baby, it would take effect because babies don't have developed chakra coils, so therefore the Yokai can settle, and the Kyuubi locked away. How do you know? Realization crawled up Sasuke's face. You have the Kyuubi sealed away in you. Naruto nodded. Why do you think the village hates me so much? All my life, people beated me up. I couldn't shop for my own food, so I had to nick it. The academy teachers refused to teach me, so I didn't learn much there, and last Sunday, I nearly died during the festival, the night when Itachi-san wiped the Uchiha clan out. Naruto stopped for a second, panting hard, remembering, as an Anbunin slashed down on him, kunai tearing into his eyes. Tears began to fall from Naruto's face. Why? Why did Yondaime force you to suffer this? Why not a different baby? Sasuke asked. Who are your parents, Naruto? Naruto stared at him for a second. Sasuke, all this we're talking about now is highly classified, an SS rank secret, it can never leave us. Naruto said coldly, looking around him, scanning the area in paranoia. I don't know my mother, Sasuke, but my father, was the Yondaime, Namikaze Minato of Konoha. Sasuke gasped in realization. Of course. He sacrificed his own son, unable to ask another parent to make the sacrifice. Sasuke thought. Your father Yondaime, Naruto, but then why do the villagers hate you so? You still haven't answered my other question. How did you almost die? Sasuke demanded once more. I think that the villagers don't know of my parentage. They only see me as the Kyuubi, no, not the Kyuubi, but as the container. They think that because all that evil is stored within me, they hate me. They hate me because they can't hate Kyuubi. They beat me because they can't beat Kyuubi. The night of the festival, my 9th birthday, I was attacked once more by a few villagers, and a few leaf nin. They beat me up for a bit, nothing out of the ordinary, but the last one, that hawk-masked nin, took my eyes Sasuke, and left me to die. What do you mean, you have your eyes now? As I lay there dying, the Kyuubi began healing me, but it couldn't repair my eyes. Itachi had just left the district and ran into me. We talked for a bit, and then he healed me. He didn't leave me there like some kind of crippled leper, like most of Konoha see fit to do, but he gave me these eyes that belonged to someone you knew close. These eyes are the eyes of Uchiha Shisui, and I now wield the Sharingan, as if I were another Uchiha. Naruto finished, turning to Sasuke, green eyes flickering, then disappearing before the Sharingan blazed brightly, twin blood-red orbs staring back into Sasuke's whitened eyes. My brother Itachi Naisen had eyes like those. Sasuke stared at Yandame's son. You said I knew nothing of Itachi, please tell me. Tell me why he killed my family, why did he kill them all? Sasuke cried out, tears falling freely. He remembered the blood, its nasty metallic stink filling the air, suffocating him, as he tried to run. Bodies littering the ground like discarded trash. Why did Itachi do it? After Itachi gave me Shisui-sen's eyes, he used the Tsukuyomi on me, and revealed a few things. Then he gave me part of his power, not enough to weaken him, but enough to give me a little, and certain knowledge. The latter was unintentional I believe, but Itachi gave me a few key memories, and when I unlocked them it was like living them all over again. Naruto said. Please. What memories? Sasuke begged. Uchiha Itachi, Anbu captain, was ordered to kill your family by Danzo, Hamaru, and Koharu, key members of the village council. Danzo was the head of the Anbu, and the village's defense tactician. Danzo found out that your father Uchiha Fugaku, and several other Uchihas were planning a coup d'etat, a rebellion in a sense. Fugaku was going to kill me to release the Kyuubi, and kill the Sandaime, and force his way into the Goding position. No, my father wouldn't do that. Sasuke spat at him, standing up off the bridge, and glaring daggers at Naruto. I knew my father. Just like you knew Itachi. I'm not sure what your father's mental state was prior, but he had been visited by the founder of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Madara. Madara had been the sole conspirer behind the Kyuubi attack, he had summoned it, and set it loose on Konoha. He used the same technique he used on Itachi, and gave part of his power, and his memories to Fugaku, who in turn would set the Kyuubi on Konoha once again. Naruto explained. The Tausen was being used by Madara? Sasuke asked. Yes. Madara hated the village because they all conspired, including the Uchihas to keep him out of the Hokage seat. Angry by the betrayals of the Uchihas, he unleashed the Kyuubi, and then he decided to destroy them from the inside out. By giving your father a minuscule amount of power and memories, it was enough to trigger him into believing that the village had them there, as trained dogs, and nothing more. So Danzo, and the village leaders sent Itachi on an undercover mission to kill your clan, all of your clan. The third opposed, but the council decided to do it anyway. They distracted the third by hiring some thugs to attack me, Sandaime's biggest regret, while Itachi destroyed the clan. Except he left you alive, because he couldn't kill you, you were the person he loved the most, so he left you alive, tortured you, so you could hate him so much that he'd be killed by you, and in a sense, redeem him for killing the clan. Sasuke cried, as Naruto finished his story. Tears kept falling from his face. How horrible it must have been for his brother to have to go through all that. He had been alone. He loved me so much that he disobeyed a direct order, and left me alive. Itachi Naisen, why? Sasuke turned his tear-streaked cheeks to the pariah of Konoha. What do you mean, your Sandaime's biggest regret? When father sealed the Kyuubi in me, he asked that I be seen, as a hero, for containing the Kyuubi, but Konoha had disgraced his memory by doing the opposite. Sarutobi made a few laws that prevented the village from taking action against me, but he never really enforced it. So I've been beaten, and alone all my life, because he didn't do his job, as Hokage, because he didn't follow through with my dad's last wishes, it's why I'm his biggest regret. The council used it to their advantage, and paid a few thugs to beat me during the festival, but when a few singers that bore bad will against me saw this, they jumped in, and took my eyes. Naruto explained, standing up, and stretching. So in essence, we've both got some payback to deliver to the council. Sasuke asked, smiling wickedly. Yeah, but only a few of those old bastards. We'll have payback, they'll pay tenfold for what they did to us both. Naruto said smiling, his Sharingan eyes shining brightly, as he pictured all he could do to the council. But I'm too weak, as it is right now. Sasuke complained. I know. Naruto said, staring at the dark-haired boy. Suddenly the two began spinning wildly, merging with one another, forming a three-pointed shuriken. Nanjaku Sharingan. No, merely a variant, but nowhere near as powerful as the real thing. Naruto said, running through a set of hand seals. What are you doing? Sasuke asked. Giving you half the power Itachi Nai gave to me. Naruto spoke, and then a jet-black crow erupted from his mouth, and entered Sasuke's. Sasuke screamed for a second, his jet-black eyes turning red in the early stages of the Sharingan, before turning into the Manjaku, then back to normal. I suggest that you don't use the Manjaku Sharingan. Both of us are novices to it, as well as the normal Sharingan, and the strain it puts on us is enormous, making it ineffective, or rather useless. It will take years before we can even use it properly. Naruto said. Bits of memories from both Itachi and Naruto flooded Sasuke for a second, and any doubt that Sasuke might have had was quelled as he saw the memories himself. "We have company," Sasuke said pointedly. "I noticed him a few seconds ago." "You can come out now, Anbu-san," Naruto exclaimed loudly. A masked Anbunin with spiky gray hair came out from behind a tree, reading an orange-clad book. "Uzumaki Naruto, the council demands your presence," the wolf-masked Anbu said. "Why should I trust you? I could care less of the council's demand," Naruto growled out, but Sasuke placed a hand on his arm. "Go with them, I'll follow behind." Naruto nodded. "I was told to bring you by force if necessary, Uzumaki," the Anbu replied calmly, his eyes never leaving the book. "It won't be necessary, Anbu-san," Naruto replied, walking towards him. Seconds later, both disappeared, heading towards Hokage Tower. Naruto stood in front of the council's chamber, located next to the Hokage's office. He knew the protocol. He was supposed to knock 3 times and wait for a response. When told to come in, he headed in there, popped to attention, and waited for further instructions. Naruto, on the other hand, cared little for protocol. Instead of knocking, he instead strolled in, facing the council with indifference. He did not pop to attention. Instead, he created a cage bunchen and made it hinge into a chair, which Naruto laid out on lazily. "Uzumaki Naruto, you are to stand at attention," Danzo snapped, standing out of his chair in anger. "I will do no such thing, Danzo-san," Naruto replied evenly, making himself comfortable on the chair. "It's Danzo-sama to you, Uzumaki. Are you refusing to obey a direct order?" Danzo asked angrily. "I have no need to follow such stupid requests, nor will I comply if I had to, Danzo-san," Naruto replied, just as calmly. "Danzo, shut up and sit down. We have a meeting to begin," Sandaime Sarutobi shouted. Danzo gave him a cross look before sitting down. "Naruto, why are you refusing to stand while speaking to the council?" Sandaime asked. "Simple. I'm not gonna stand here while you sit. I'm in no way or shape inferior to any of you, even you Sandaime Maji-san. If you old bastards can sit, then so will I," Naruto said. One of the council members leapt up to his feet, charging at the boy. Hiruno Zaku, if Naruto's memory serves correctly. "Die, demon." Zaku charged, sliding a kunai from a sleeved shirt, taking a swipe at the boy. Naruto stood to his feet, and then froze. Zaku halted for a second. "Last chance, old man," Naruto said calmly. Zaku charged once more, kunai in hand, and thrusted it to Naruto's face, color intent leaking in the room. Without using his Sharingan eyes, Naruto tracked the movement and speed of the attack, and grabbed the kunai. Zaku swung his other hand, and Naruto ducked underneath the hand holding the kunai, snapping the arm with it, as he bends the arm behind his back, and impaled the man in the back of the head with his own kunai, effectively stapling him to the wall. The old Hokage looked outraged. He stood to his feet in anger, and shouted at Naruto. "Naruto-kun, you've just killed a council member, retired at that," Sandaime yelled. "He broke 2 important laws, and I was merely defending myself. I told you, old man, you created laws that you don't enforce. Not only did he call me a demon, but he tried to stab me with a kunai. I told you that the next motherfucker who tried to kill me would die, no exceptions, no mercy. I didn't come here to get attacked, though it doesn't surprise me with a council as dirty and tainted as this one," Naruto growled out. "It is, as you say," Sandaime said, defeated. "Who are you to come in here and kill a council member? If you would have kept your trap shut and been respectful, then this wouldn't have happened," Inuzuka Tsume shouted, standing up. "It wouldn't have happened," Naruto said, laughing. "It has happened every day. You people stand there all judgmental. I was respectful every day to you bastards, and instead of showing some respect, even if it had been minimal, it would have been okay. Instead you ostracize me, forcing me to live as an outcast. Kids in the academy hate me because of you people. Teachers refuse to teach me, and most importantly, Danzo-sama over there hired some nin to beat me and took my eyes. Also, he could use Uchiha Itachi to kill the Uchiha clan." "Liar," Danzo exclaimed angrily. "You hired nins to attack Naruto while Itachi killed his clan," the Sandaime asked, turning to his old rival. "No," Danzo replied, trying not to get caught. "It didn't escape Hyuga Hiashi." "He's lying, I can see it with my Byakugan," Hiashi said, standing to his feet as well. "How do you know this?" Narashikaku asked, watching the boy. "After Danzu's thugs took my eyes, Itachi pitied me. He had just finished killing the clan with the exception of Sasuke. He gave me Uchiha Shishi's eyes, and transferred some of his power to me, as well as parts of his memories. This is how I know this." "What are your excuses for your treatment of me?" Naruto asked. "We wanted to protect our kids, so we told them to stay away from you. No one knows about the Yondaime seal, and what it does. For all we know, you could be the Kyuubi right now. My father's seal did, as it was supposed to. It seals the Kyuubi away, and leaks his Yaokai, converting into normal chakra, and eventually killing him. If I had died 4 days ago, the Kyuubi would have been released in Konoha again, killing you all. Why did you disgrace my father's last wishes?" He asked that I be seen as a hero, and instead you turned me into a fucking pariah. Why did the council disgrace Namikaze Minato and his legacy, his only son? Naruto spat at them, and a few gasped in surprise. We didn't know. No one knew of your heritage. Yamanaka Inoichi said defensively. Look at me. How many kids in Konoha look like him? And even if I hadn't, for the village to treat me as if I were the Kyuubi. How long did you think my sanity would hold for? I don't get it. By all rights I should burn this village to the ground for what you did to me. Well, you bastards ate warm meals, I was denied them, and I had to filter through the garbage like some street urchin. Naruto spat out. He then turned to the Hokage, facing him. Yes, Naruto-kun. Old man, you disappointed me worst of all. You knew who my father was, and his last wishes. Hell, you were there when the Kyuubi attacked. I understand that you didn't want Iwa to hunt me down, as the sole heir to the Namikaze clan. I understand. Honestly, but what happened to the duties of a Hokage, Nasandame Jiji? Naruto asked angrily, tears sliding down his cheeks. What do you mean, Naruto-kun? Sandame asked, his face falling at the sight of the boy's tears. He was just a boy, he had to endure such hells, and even then it hadn't completely broken him. As Hokage, it is your duty to protect every single person in the village. I love everyone in this village like a family, it is why the will of fires never dies. Naruto recited. It was almost as if he was disgusted with the very words the Sandame once spoke to him. What about me, Gramps? How come I wasn't protected? 9 years I've endured the beatings, and rarely did I receive help. I was attacked by the fucking Anbu for fuck's sake. What about my will of fire? All I wanted was to be just like you, and a Yondaime, a hero, someone the village could be proud of. What about my dreams, old man? Do you even care? Naruto cried out, drying his teary eyes with his sleeve. What about the man you just killed? Hirano Zaku, he had a family, and now you leave his daughter fatherless. How are you different from the Kyuubi? Akimichi Chauza asked, glaring at him. I've been fatherless and motherless for 9 years, I'm sure Sakura will survive. Naruto snapped in reply. Are you quite done with the pity, Naruto? Danzo asked, standing up and walking towards the boy. Sharingan blazing, Naruto faced him with an equal glare. Perhaps it might sound like I'm a whiny bitch to you. If you had to live it, would you survive? Tsukiyomi. Naruto yelled, sending Danzo spiraling into a crisp. Where are we? Danzo asked. This is my world, the world of Tsukiyomi, where one day here lasts a second out there. Let's see if you're as tough as you claim to be, Danzo. He wasn't. One day of Naruto's life was enough to leave him screaming and sobbing on the floor at the council's feet. The council had mixed reactions, some were disgusted, some watched in awe. What had he done to Danzo to leave him a screaming mess on the deck? Enough, Naruto. Sandame commanded angrily. I released the technique seconds ago. It seems that Danzo didn't like living my life for a day. Naruto replied. That's all you did? Inuzukatsu asked. Naruto nodded. What is it that you want? Sandame asked. Normality. I just want to live my life, become a genin without wondering who will attack next. Was that too much to ask? Naruto demanded. Do explain. Hiashi commanded. A normal childhood. I want you to stress to the villagers, the Anbu, and everyone the ramifications in another attack against this village. Explain the fucking seal that the Yondaime created solely to kill the Kyuubi. I'm not asking you to tell the world I'm Yondaime's son, it's not time for that yet, but I wish for normality, rather than hypocrisy. Naruto finished. Naruto turned to leave. Naruto. Sandame called out to him before he could go. Eh? Naruto asked, without turning around. It really saddens me. You're nothing like your father. The strength might be there, but everything else the Sandame trailed off, his own eyes watering. I know. You know the funny thing is. You could have changed that. All of you, and with that Naruto was gone. What are we gonna do about Danzo and the perpetrators? Hiashi asked. For Danzo, life in prison with no parole. For Koharu and Himura, and any person involved in the attack against Uzumaki Naruto, public execution. The Sandame spat out. Life just got interesting in Konoha. Time skip. 3 years. Hokage's office. Finally the Hokage made his decisions on the new Genin squad. It had taken time, but he finally found purposes for the rookie 9. For hours he looked at the stats, and skills, and usefulness, factoring in Kekkei Genkais, as well as clan jutsus. This was what he could come up with. Infiltration Squad Jounin Sensei Maidogai. Yamanaka Ino fangirl Kunoichi, whose main use lies in her Yamanaka mind techniques. Narashikimere, a replica of his father, particularly lazy and unmotivated, but has a firm grasp on his clan. Akimichi Chauji Squad Powerhouse. Constantly eats like an Akimichi, but truly devoted to his best friend Shikimere. Very proficient in clan techniques, and has the chakra of a First Strike Attack Squad Jounin Sensei Midarashienko. Haruno Sakura's smartest rookie Kunoichi in Konoha. Jinjutsu is on a capable level. Ninjutsu is nearly non-existent, as well as Taijutsu. Mediocre medical capabilities are her biggest strength. Aburumshino a genius, mind is very capable, much like Hyuga Niji. Extremely proficient with clan techniques. Taijutsu and Jinjutsu are weak points. Hyuga Hinata unfit to be Kunoichi. Proficient in the Hyuga style Taijutsu, but lacks mental capability, as well as confidence to be the greatest Kunoichi in Konoha. Both weaknesses are caused by an overbearing and pompous father, perhaps her sensei can cure her of it. Heavy assault fighter squad Jounin sensei had a Kakashi. Inizuka Kiba brash and arrogant, but extremely proficient in Taijutsu and clan ninjutsu due to close relationship with his puppy Akamaru. Uchiha Sasuke well-developed Sharingan, has copied nearly 100 while attending Chunin exams. Taijutsu is off the charts, while his ninjutsu is mediocre. Uzumaki Naruto an enigma. A ninjutsu and chakra powerhouse. Proficient with that are eye-based, others are lacking. Taijutsu is average. It is unknown how many he knows are copied with Uchiha Shisui Sharingan. Supposing it's actually his Sharingan, could it be possible that it became Naruto's very own Sharingan? The possibilities are endless. Satisfied with his choices, Sarutobi aimed to find his grandson Konohamaru and play with him. In a world as cold as this one, Sarutobi learned that kids, the future generation of Konoha, were very important and should not be neglected. Konoha Ninja Academy. After Naruto and Sasuke avoided a particular group of some stupid Kunoichi one-up fangirls, and waited for the arrival of Iruka-sensei to tell them who their team would be. Naruto knew that he and Sasuke would probably be on different teams. It would be pretty unfair to have two Sharingan users on one team. Sasuke pretty much hoped Sakura wouldn't end up on his team, and Naruto hoped Ino wouldn't. Both girls had been chasing after the two of them since that one day they entered the academy, as friends. It had been odd, once the third Hokage told the people of Konoha about Naruto, and exactly what he meant to them. Not much had really changed in the older generation, their hate was far too set on the boy to change, but rather than beat him or pelt him with rocks, they kept their distance, fearing of the Kyuubi escaping its prison, and killing them once again. The newer generation seemed to like him a bit more. Rather than turning away from him, a majority thanked him for the sacrifice that he had to make, living as the most hated person in Konoha. Not that he really cared, it was far too late for their appreciation. They hated him too after all. When his teachers refused to teach him, none of them gave him a hand in the first year, except Sasuke. Sasuke had been the one to help him in his first academy weeks, though at the time Naruto himself had been ungrateful, and turned Sasuke into the rival he had to beat someday. It's the only reason he had even considered telling him the truth about Itachi. He had felt that Sasuke should know. It's surprising what could happen when Naruto showed up back at the academy, knowing all the answers, and dressed up in different clothes than that horrid orange jumpsuit. He had begun wearing better clothes, and had grown his hair out, and suddenly he was as popular as Sasuke himself. Before, he used to try so hard to please everyone, and they called him annoying. Now when he wakes up, he drinks himself a big cup of fucking juice, and suddenly they notice him. He'd been, and still was far too lonely, and far too angry to care. Fuck them. Here are the teams. Yumino Iruka said, walking in, giving a small glare to Naruto. He never liked the boy, but for his own safety, he managed to suppress his own anger. His parents had been killed in the Kyuubi attack, and he still held a grudge, though he supposed that wasn't the only reason he hated the boy. Mainly, it was because Naruto's visage in itself was blasphemous. The boy looked more like the yandere everyday, once he stopped cutting his hair. Now he wore black ninja pants and sandals, and a black sleeveless tight-fitting shirt. There was a yellow sash around his waist, holding a kunai pouch. Adorning his head was the leaf village jade. He even ditched the original navy blue that had been handed out to them yesterday. Now it was pressed against a long black sash, then wrapped around his forehead, and tied in a knot, the two remaining ends hanging down to his mid-back. The Yandere was my hero, and here's this thing, daring to look like him. Iruka thought angrily. Naruto's blonde locks were, as unruly and spiky as ever, two blonde locks hanging down the side of his face, and a back end tied into a spiky ponytail. Another reason Iruka hated the boy was because of his apathy. He literally cared for nothing, for nobody except Sasuke. Iruka couldn't get him to train, until it was test times, and even then he did the bare minimum to pass. Yet Iruka was not stupid, he knew there lied a lot of power, even if it was dormant. For now. Glaring at him now, the boy merely stared at him back, his face unreadable covered by a veil of calamity. His eyes themselves were expressionless, almost taunting Iruka, as if Iruka was so unimportant that he'd get nothing out of the boy. That really pissed him off. There was little he could do about it. The Hokage warned him not to hold a grudge for the boy, and that his life was on the line if he did so. The aging Hokage told him to take it easy on the boy, that while Iruka was hurting from the loss of his parents, the Sandaime reminded him that Naruto never had any. Perhaps he'd been wrong about him. Perhaps he had been the loneliest one of them all, and Iruka was too wrapped up in guilt to see it. He would invite him to some ramen later, and talk, and try to decipher the blank void that was Uzumaki Naruto. Team 7 consists of Uchiha Sasuke, Inizuka Kiba, and Uzumaki Naruto. Iruka said, as calmly as he could, mimicking Naruto's demeanor in the hopes of getting the rise out of him. Of course this pissed the fangirls off. I want to be on Sasuke's team. I want to be on Naruto's team. Shut it. Iruka drawled out lazily. He ran through a few more names, but by this time, Naruto was already asleep. A frown marred Iruka's scarred face. That team. Reaching over to the chalkboard, he picked up a piece of chalk and pelted it at the boy's head. Just before it could touch him, Naruto's hands shot up and grabbed it, squeezing it before the chalk dissolved into nothing but dust. I'm not asleep, Iruka-sensei. More apathy, but Shikamaru is. You know, whined in Naruto's defense. Hey Baka. Iruka pelted another piece and woke the sleeping Nar. Team 7, your instructor will be Hada Kakashi, he'll be arriving within an hour. Team 8, your instructor will be Hyuga Akina, Team 9, your instructor will be Mitarashi Enko, and Team 10, your instructor will be Mito Gai. Iruka finished. Half an hour passed, and every team, but Team 7 was gone. Where is this Kakashi guy? Kiba asked, as if Sasuke or Naruto could answer. Naruto had engaged Kiba in small talk, since they were teammates after all, it would be best to get a feel for him. I don't know. Naruto replied curtly, spinning a kunai round on his index finger. He too was waiting for his sensei's arrival, but for a different reason. Another hour passed, and finally, a spiky-haired nin walked through the door. He had gray hair, which was unnaturally spiked to the left, his 8 covering his left eye. Kakashi walked in and stared at the kids, seeing Naruto for the first time in years. Minato? Kakashi asked, his face blank. Naruto. Naruto replied, before launching a kunai at Kakashi's face, a sadistic grin marrying his boyish features. With the experience an Anbu captain could only obtain, Hada Kakashi reached out and gripped the kunai, seconds before it could pierce his eye, spinning around Naruto and giving him a good slap to the back of the head. Save that for later, new Naruto, he said, digging into his pocket for his favorite treat of the day, Icha paradise. God bless Yurei-sama. Kakashi thought, before staring at the 3 students he was supposed to take up. The group did look promising, and that Uzumaki kid, he looked nearly identical to Minato. Thoughts of the past rummaged around Kakashi's brain, and he shook it off. There were other matters that needed tending to. Iro-sensei. Naruto greeted, noticing the orange book. Naruto supposed that Kakashi didn't like that too much, his visible eye glared at him. Not that he cared really. Is Kakashi-sensei, or Kakashi? I'm not that perverted. Kakashi said sternly, ruffling the kid's hair, much to the boy's distaste. He couldn't help it really, the boy looked like a chibi yandere. There were subtle differences of course, and Naruto had whiskered cheeks, and eyes that had no visible life left in its green orbs. Could this boy really be Kyuubi? You know it's not nice to show up late, Kakashi-sensei. We've been waiting for 2 hours. Naruto replied. I'm sorry, I was almost here, and got lost on the road of life. Several villagers were trying to attack a scared kitten in a tree, so I naturally had to stop and save him. Kakashi said cheerily, his eyes crinkling up into a smile. What are you hiding behind the mask, sensei? Kiba asked. Let's meet up on the roof and introduce ourselves. Kakashi said, vanishing in a puff of smoke. This team could be very promising indeed. Knowing it'd take them a couple seconds to make it to the roof, Kakashi began to read with fervor. Yukani laid on her back, pulling the stranger towards her. Her thighs were sticky with her own juices, the scent rising to the stranger's nose promising a very good night. The stranger was just some 17-year-old villager, a virgin by the guess of it, as he fumbled with his zipper nervously. Iro-sensei, stop reading that garbage, now. A loud voice interrupted his thoughts. Naruto and Sasuke were on the roof watching him. Kakashi subtly shifted his pants, hoping none of them would notice. Wait for me. Kiba yelled, running up the stairs, Akamaru in tow. Kiba joined his 2 teammates. You have to teach me how to do the shunshin, he said angrily, panting slightly. Kakashi eyed the bows warily. Naruto and Sasuke knew the shunshin already, and they just graduated. How good were they? Okay, let's start with introductions. I'm Hada Kakashi. I like many things you shouldn't know about yet. I dislike a few things like waiting for the next installment of my favorite book to come out, and for hobbies I like to read. I'm an ex-Anbu captain, and possibly your sensei. Kakashi said, noticing the wince on Naruto's face when he mentioned the Anbu. Not that he could blame the boy for his natural distrust of them. He heard all about their attack 3 years ago. You, the dog boy. Kakashi said bluntly, irritating Kiba and Akamaru. I am Inuzuka Kiba. I like Akamaru and training with him. I dislike cats, stupid fangirls fawning over the broody types. My dream is to be clan leader for the Inuzuka clan and help pass laws that protect dogs in the village. Kiba said, giving a small glare at Naruto and Sasuke. Hey Blondie. You go next. Kakashi ordered, and the vehement look the boy gave him was enough to make Kakashi reconsider, calling him Blondie again. My name is Uzumaki Naruto, for now anyways. I like nothing really, except learning and creating. I hate a good portion of the village, and all of the Anbu. My only dream is to be a better shinobi than the Yondaime, and merge the Uchiha clan, and my own, and bring us back to the glory we were once at, Naruto said. Kakashi stared at the boy for a second. No way. Was that boy his sensei's son? If so, how come he never knew? He had to find out. Kakashi then nodded at the Uchiha kid, and waited for his response. Sasuke was sitting down Indian style, hands clasped together. As you know, my name is Uchiha Sasuke. Like Naruto, I don't like much. I dislike the village council, and my dreams are to revive me, and Naruto's clan, and to save my brother Itachi. Sasuke said, pushing away his memories. Alright, that's enough of the introductions. Meet me at Training Field 7 tomorrow at 7 o'clock sharp. Kakashi ordered them, and chuckled when he saw Naruto's incredulous look. So does that mean to show up around 10, then? Naruto asked bluntly. No, it means to show up at 7. Kakashi replied, crinkling his eyes up in a smile. Giving them a small wave, Kakashi disappeared out of there, followed by Naruto and Sasuke. Akamaru, we have to learn how to do that. Kiba grunted, petting his puppy. Akamaru barked in response. Kiba stood up and started sprinting back home, ready to beg his sister Hana for another. Sarutobi contemplated leaving a Bunshin to do his job for him so he could dip out of there and get a bowl of ramen. That does sound good, Sarutobi thought. Just as he stood up out of his chair, there was a soft knock on his door. Fuck. He groaned inwardly. Come in, he said, hoping he didn't sound like he felt. And what? Kakashi, Icha book in his hands. There's something I got to ask you, Hokage-sama. Kakashi said, standing at attention in front of the old Sandaime. At ease, Sarutobi said, knowing full well that Kakashi's politeness and bearing was just a ruse. Ask away. The Hokage said, pulling out a pipe out of his drawer. This might take a bit. Kakashi dropped out of attention and stared at the Hokage, head tilted to the side, spiky hair hanging down. It's about Uzumaki Naruto, Kakashi admitted. That boy, I know he's the jailer for the Kyuubi, but is there anything else you want to tell me about him before I take his team in, as students? Kakashi asked. There's nothing else you need to know about him, Sarutobi said, stressing the need part. Is he sensei's son? Kakashi asked. What makes you say that? Sarutobi asked calmly, grating Kakashi's nerves. The Icha book disappeared, and an accusatory finger pointed at Yondaime's picture. He looks just like him. He doesn't just resemble him, I thought it was him when I saw him today. Is he Yondaime's son? Kakashi demanded. Being an Anbu, there was always information that was withheld, but this particular piece should have been told to him years ago. Like I said, you don't need to know. Sandaime replied evenly. Yes I do. Don't you get it, damn it. All this time, Minato was like a father to me, especially after Tausen's death, he was there for me. Then he gets killed for this village, and his son gets ostracized, beaten, and his eyes taken. I could have been there for him. Those that don't follow rules are trash, but those that abandon their comrades are worse than trash. I'm trash. All this time I've been living in the past, regretting Sensei's death, Obito's death, and Rin's disappearance, and that boy had no one, not even me. I've disgraced his father by not being there. I'm a supposed genius, how come I didn't figure it out? Kakashi said, his only visible eyes showing more emotion than he had shown in years. You didn't know? Sarutobi said calmly, standing up and placing his hand on Kakashi's shoulder. That's what makes me an idiot. Not to mention his last name, Uzumaki, that was Kushina's surname, wasn't it? 12 years he was despised. I even despised him after Minato's death, and I didn't know. I know you're the Hokage, but fuck, that's something you should have told me. Is there anything else? Nothing, though I can see why he doesn't trust you. The boy knows, doesn't he? I remember the first time I met, how boastful he was about being Hokage, and you destroyed that dream by letting those ungrateful fucking villagers nearly kill him. You could have had another Yondaime. Hell, the kid seems powerful enough, and instead he doesn't want anything to do with that shit job. I'll be my own way, Hokage-sama. It appears I have 12 years of makeup to do. Kakashi snapped, turning around and leaving. Sarutobi sighed. Kakashi hated him too. Ramen doesn't sound too bad now. Neither does peeping. It's a shame Jiraiya's been gone for so long. That transparency was useful. Naruto walked with Sasuke back to the Uchiha district. The two had been living in its remnants since after the day Naruto accompanied Sasuke to the funeral. When Sasuke found out where Naruto had been living and how he'd been eating, he promptly invited his only friend to stay with him. Part of him knew he was scared to live all alone in the very district his family was assassinated. Naruto being his best friend was a bonus. Normally the two would engage in a few taijutsu spars and practice there, but Naruto seemed pretty out of it. Hey dope, Sasuke said, raising his eyebrows at the green-eyed blonde. Naruto grimaced for a second and then looked at Sasuke. What do you want, Sasuke? Naruto said, panting slightly. You alright? Sasuke asked. Yeah. I'm just trying to filter through my memories. Was it our sensei, that Anbu that took me to the council that day I told you everything? Naruto asked. Sasuke's curiosity piqued, He began to recall that day that changed his life in so many ways, and then remembered him. That perverted sensei of his off in the background, Itachi book in tow. Yeah, it was him. Sasuke said. Naruto nodded numbly, and then sneezed. Someone must be talking about me. How about we go out to eat before we train? I'll pay. Naruto offered, and Sasuke had to agree to that one. The two boys headed off to a restaurant Chaoji recommended to them that offered the best barbecued pork ever. Kiba glared at his sister Inuzuka Hana. He had been begging her to teach him some ninjutsu, but she refused to cave in. Come on. Kiba begged, Akamaru barking, throwing his 2 cents in. I'm busy all day at the vet's office. Kuromaru got injured pretty badly in his last mission, and wants him healed as soon as possible. Hana replied, ruffling Kiba's hair. She could be annoying at times, but she was thankful for his enthusiasm. What if I offered him to you at the vet's today? Will you teach me some cool new Hana-nichin? Kiba pleaded, and even Akamaru joined, holding out his paw to Hana. Unable to resist the little puppy, Hana held its paw in her hand and gently scratched behind his ear. Akamaru licked her hand in response. I guess so, she said, shrugging. So who'd you get teamed up with? She asked gently, picking up Akamaru and patting it softly, much to the dog's pleasure. I got stuck with 2 of the most stuck-up kids in class. I got Uchiha Sasuke and Uzumaki Naruto, Kiba said, growling in annoyance. Naruto huh? That boy who looks just like Yandere. He's definitely a cutie, if only I was 5 years younger. Hana contemplated. Sometimes I wonder though, if Yandere had a kid, it'd be that Naruto boy. Hana said. You think Naruto's cute? Kiba growled out. Hana shrugged. Yeah. You got a problem with it. It's not like I'm going to date the boy, just merely stating a fact. Uzumaki-san is sexy, and the Uchiha, well he's not my type. Come on, have you seen Naruto's whisker marks? They're so cute. Just be quiet, you're starting to sound like one of their fangirls. Let's just hurry up at the vet, and we can get back to learning. Kiba said, snatching back his puppy, and placing him on his parka hood. Hana rolled her eyes in disdain. Kiba could be so rude. The two headed off to the vet's office where Hana worked part-time. It was time to cure their Kaisen's dog Kuromaru. Naruto sat atop of Yandane's head cursing him. Another villager was dumb enough to cross him, but this time Naruto let the man live. He couldn't kill every villager, even if he was sorely tempted to at times. Naruto used the shunshin, and hurried over to the downtown portion of the village where he ran into Kakashi once again. Yo? Kakashi said, and Naruto ignored him. He kind of wanted to get back to the Uchiha district before dark, so he could practice the Kaden Dukakyu no Jutsu a few times. He had already mastered that, and the Housenka, but it didn't do harm to practice. Naruto, Kakashi said, annoyed at the genin's indifference to him. Naruto furrowed his brows, and stared at his sensei. Yes, Kakashi-sensei. Naruto waited for the pertinent lecture he figured would come next. Are you ready for tomorrow? Kakashi asked. Before they could continue what might have been a conversation, which sorely depended on Naruto, they were interrupted by an infamous pink-haired banshee. Naruto, she yelled, twirling a kunai on her fingers, standing in an Academy Taijutsu stance. What do you want, Haruno? Naruto asked angrily. He avoided Sakura whenever possible, usually she bothered him with questions on how to seduce Sasuke and whatnot, and was very insistent on top. Apparently she just didn't get that her Sasuke-kun just didn't like her. Not that Naruto blamed him. Is it true that you killed my father 3 years ago? Sakura grimacing, teeth clenched, poised to strike at any second. Naruto flinched visibly. Haruno Zaku had been his only kill. He regretted it now, but at the time he had been so set on setting an example to the council that he cold-heartedly murdered him, even if he had tried to kill him first. He had just reacted to the incoming kunai, and didn't think twice about shoving the thing into the back of his head. Yeah, I did. Naruto said calmly, belying the emotions that he had pent up. Why? She demanded. Why did you kill Zaku Itachi? She had her other hand in her shuriken pouch, ready to launch them at the blonde. It would be unwise to attack Haruno. You should learn from your father's mistakes. He spoke bluntly. Or you'll end up like him. Kakashi stared at the blonde. This was Minato's son. It had to be a joke. This kid talked about killing his classmate's father so cruelly, as if it were an everyday occurrence. My father attacked you? Sakura asked, clearly intimidated by Naruto's presence. The way he carried himself was astonishingly frightening. It's almost as if he were expecting an attack from everywhere, green eyes darting about. I can't tell you much because it's classified, but he committed treason and tried to kill me, a clan leader. Naruto replied. So it's true. Kasen was right, you're evil, there's nothing good left in you. You should have died in my father's place, but I'll rectify that. This is for my father. Sakura screeched, rushing forward launching a kunai at his head. Naruto blocked the kunai with one of his own, smacking the head of the kunai in a way that sent it spiraling back at Sakura's face. Before it could connect, Kakashi stepped in and grabbed it. The glare he sent to Naruto was packed full of killer intent, and was enough to send Sakura cowering. Go home. he ordered Sakura. With a defiant look on her face she turned to Naruto. I'm going to train every day, and one day, I'll avenge my father's death, Uzumaki Naruto. She turned and walked away, no longer the confident nin she'd been minutes ago, as tears streamed down her face. Kakashi couldn't help himself, and grabbed Naruto by the front of his jacket, and lifted him up in the air. Do you feel strong enough to take on your sensei Naruto? Kakashi asked, and received nothing more than indifference. I was merely defending myself, Naruto stated. You didn't have to talk to her about her father like that, Kakashi said sourly. You're nothing like my sensei. Do you think you would be approved? Kakashi asked. So you found out, no? If Namikaze Minato was in front of me, I'd tell him to burn in hell, or the Shinigami's stomach for all I care. He's the one to blame for all this, to condemn me to live such a life. If you were his student, why didn't you help me? Naruto asked lividly, his eyes lighting up in anger. Yondaime was a great man, you should not speak badly of him. Kakashi snapped at him. I have no, therefore I'll speak about him however I want. The Yondaime was a stupid fool who gave up his life for a stupid, ungrateful village. Naruto snapped back at the silver-haired. What did you say? Kakashi asked, his fists clenching in anger, his dark eyes demanding the genin to repeat his statement. You heard me, sensei. He was nothing more than a fool giving up his life for a stupid village, and sacrificed his only child to do it. I hope he rots wherever he's at. Before Naruto could finish, Kakashi had already punched him across the face, sending him tumbling to the dirt. A few villagers saw this, and cheered from the side. Kakashi grabbed Naruto, forcing him to his feet, and punched him in the stomach. You ungrateful son of a bitch. Kakashi exclaimed, tears welling up in his eyes. He gave up his life to save yours, and everyone else's, and you dare disrespect him like that. Kakashi barked, looking into the jade eyes of his sensei's son. Fuck the Yondaime. How dare he put the Kyuubi in me, a fucking newborn, and then get himself killed on top of it. He couldn't have stuck around, and helped his child, protecting him from an angry village. Instead he passed on the mantle to an old geezer too old to do anything about it. He left me with no one to help me, to protect me, to feed me. Have you ever had to go digging through people's garbage for breakfast? You called me ungrateful, what is there to be grateful of? He left me alone, to live life, as a loser, a blind one damn near thanks to this village. Naruto pushed Kakashi off him. If I had known, Kakashi began. It's of little consequence now, Kakashi said. Maybe you were Yondaime's disciple, but don't ever expect me to change my opinion because you think he was great. You don't have to walk around with a demon stuck in your gut, Naruto said. He was about to walk away, when Kakashi placed a hand on his shoulder. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. I promise I'll do my best to make up for these last 12 years. Yondaime was like a father to me, so you can think of me as your. Kakashi said lazily, trying to patch up the relationship with Naruto. Whatever. Naruto started walking away. I'll see you tomorrow, sensei. Naruto woke at 6 in the morning, and hurried off to the bathroom to brush his teeth and shower. He jumped into the shower, and hopped out a few minutes later, fully washed. He dressed in his normal attire, black ninja pants rolled up to mid-shin, with yellow bandages wrapping around the end of his pants down to his ankle. He put on his black sandals, and then a sleeveless black spandex shirt, fitting his lithe form perfectly. His stomach growled, and he wanted a bit of breakfast before heading out. He quickly tied the yellow sash around his waist, and put on his 8, tying it into a knot. He hurried up, and tied a kunai holster around his leg, and hurried down to the kitchen. Sasuke was already there, softly chewing on an apple. He tossed one over to Naruto, who caught it, and began eating it. Naruto reached into the fridge, and pulled out this new drink he bought at the grocery store. It was called Monster, and was supposed to be an energy drink. Naruto shrugged, cracked the top open, and began drinking it. It tasted vulgar. Sasuke, you bastard. Why did you buy goat's piss for? Naruto demanded, tossing him the can. Though Naruto did realize he was fully awake now, he also knew that he never wanted another monster again. The two of them rushed out of the door, and sunshine, making it to the training grounds at 6:30. Kiba got there shortly after, and engaged the two of them in conversation. Much to Kiba's surprise, they actually talked to them. For the most stuck-up guys in his class, they seemed down to earth. They sat around talking for a bit. Kakashi didn't show up for another 3 hours. You're late. Kiba yelled out. Akamaru barked a few times. Sorry about that, guys. Some old guy was getting mugged by some troublesome thugs, and I intervened, and stopped them. Kakashi explained. Naruto raised his right eyebrow in disbelief. I would give you guys the standard bell test, but I'm going to break tradition. I'm supposed to scare you, and make you think I'm going to fail you, but I'm not. I was ordered to pass you guys, and well, I was going to do it anyway. Kakashi stated lazily. Why? Naruto asked. Don't ask. We passed, that's all I need to know, ain't that right, Akamaru? Kiba asked, rubbing his dog's stomach. I'd be a fool if I wasn't. I have an Inizuka, an Uchiha, and you, Naruto, but I will be testing you guys. Hokage-sama wants to turn you guys into a heavy assault squad, so we'll see how great you are. What I'm about to make next are Iwabunshin. They're pretty hard to destroy, so have fun. 3 Iwabunshin popped out, and Kakashi disappeared, leaving his clones to handle the 3. Sasuke and Naruto smiled. They hadn't had a good fight in ages. Kiba and Akamaru already used their ninja art. Beast Mimicry, and the 2 Kibas were charging at Kakashi, ready to unleash the Gatsuga. Lesson 1. Taijutsu. Kakashi said, and the clones engaged the genin. Naruto sprinted at him, picking a kunai around his hand and throwing it at the Bunshin. The Bunshin blocked and almost didn't avoid the punch Naruto sent his way. It ducked under his blow and punched him in the back. Naruto flew face first into the dirt and got up angrily. Charging again at the Bunshin, he hurled a set of shuriken at it, and, as it blocked it, he kicked his leg out, aiming for his head, but the Kakashi Bunshin simply grabbed his right leg, holding him there. Shit. Naruto thought. He swung his left fist to get the Bunshin to let go, but failed. He swung again, and jumped on his free leg, kicking the Bunshin in the face, knocking him back a few feet. Landing on his feet, he crouched, and sprinted once more, landing another punch to Iwabunshin's face. Earth style. Inner decapitation jutsu. Kakashi yelled, hands shooting up from under the earth, and grabbing Naruto's ankles, pulling him down. There was a poof of smoke only to reveal to Kakashi that it had been a shadow clone. Over to the right, Sasuke and Kakashi were parrying each other's blows. Sasuke ran through a set of hand seals which Kakashi recognized. He's much too young to know this. Fire style. Grand Fireball Jutsu. Sasuke yelled, arching back, and then blowing a huge fireball, speeding towards the. Kakashi ran through his own set of seals. Water style. Water Dragon Jutsu. Since there wasn't any source of water immediately around them, it wasn't as strong, but it was enough to put out the fireball. Kiba and Akamaru were sniffing around, trying to reveal Kakashi's position. Kakashi grinned as he traveled underground, appearing behind them. He wasn't sure who was who, but this would suck for either one. Hidden Leaf style. 1000 years of pain. Kakashi yelled, bringing his hands up towards an unlucky person's rear, shoving his bony fingers into someone's butt, launching them in the air. The poof of smoke revealed it to be Akamaru who received the attack. Akamaru didn't move after that, instead choosing to lay on the ground dramatically, damning the silver-haired, and promising to bite him later. Did you just shove your fingers into Akamaru's butt? Kiba asked Kakashi angrily, who decided it was the best place to let out a stream of giggles. Gatsuga. Kiba yelled, launching himself at Kakashi, spinning fast enough to look like a small tycoon was headed towards Kakashi. Kakashi looked at the ground where Naruto used to be. A shadow clone I never saw go through the seal. Kakashi murmured, wondering how bad he had underestimated his sensei's son. Before he could continue thinking, someone's fingers were rudely shoved into his butt, launching his horrified body up a few feet. How? Kakashi asked. Since you were late, I sent shadow clones to hang around the area, and when you used that Dotenai with one of them, and then used the inner decapitation jutsu to creep up on you. I saw what you did to Akamaru, and thought it'd be fun to get you back. Naruto explained. Sasuke and Kiba, I want you to sit down for this one. Kakashi ordered, and the two complied, Kiba hurrying over to Akamaru's prone body. He traumatized him. Kiba said, grimacing. This one's personal. Let's see how good you really are. Kakashi said, pulling up his 8 and revealing his own Sharingan. I thought you'd never show it. Naruto said, mocking them. Sending a flare of chakra to his own eyes, he activated his own Sharingan as well. The two charged, kunai in hand, ready to kill each other. Naruto. Kakashi. The two screamed out each other's names in anger and clashed. The real battle had begun. Thanks for watching my video, leave a like if you enjoyed my video, and also do consider subscribing.